Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about different enthalpies of reaction. Now, we are going to study the enthalpy of solution. Let us know what do you mean by solution. Solution nothing but it is the homogeneous mixture of two or more components. It is a homogeneous mixture. Whenever we dissolve some salt or sugar in water, it gives a homogeneous mixture. Whenever you add some flour in water or flour in water, it is not going to give a homogeneous mixture, so it is not a solution nothing but it must be a homogeneous mixture. It means that we are unable to identify the components of the system, then we say it is homogeneous. So solution nothing but the amount the solution nothing but it is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components. You will learn in detail about solution in your next year second year classes. Okay, leave it now. Whenever we dissolve some substance in water or any other solvent, sometimes heat energy is released, sometimes heat energy is absorbed. For example, when you add potassium chloride or ammonium chloride in water, there is decrease in temperature, it appears to be cold. It means that potassium chloride, ammonium chloride, the system is absorbing water, so it is an endothermic process. Wherever you add copper sulfate or sodium hydroxide in water, they release heat energy, so it is exothermic process. It means whenever a substance is added to water, some dissolution produces heat energy or release heat energy, some dissolution absorb heat energy. So the dissolution or solution may be an exothermic or endothermic. Okay, it means heat is involved during the solution, during the formation of a solution. Whenever we are making solution, heat energy is involved. So what is enthalpy of solution? Already you know, heat energy is involved in a solution during the solution formation. Enthalpy of solution nothing but the amount of heat energy released or absorbed. Sometimes heat is releasing, sometimes heat is absorbing. Whenever 1 mole of a substance is dissolved completely in a specified amount of solvent, we are taking large amount of solvent, specified amount of solvent, it may be 100 only, means certain large amount is we are taking, then we are dissolving that substance, we are measuring the change in temperature. The difference in temperature is nothing but heat absorbed or heat released by the system or on this by the system. So here the difference in temperature we are going to measure. Here one condition is there, whenever you add solvent further in that solution, if there is no change in heat content of the system, it means, for example, you have taken 100 ml water, in that you have added certain gram of KCl or certain gram of copper sulfate, just you mixed completely, thoroughly you mixed. After thorough mixing, you measured the temperature. It means KCl is completely dissolved, copper sulfate is completely dissolved, and we measured the temperature. Further addition of water to these systems, if there is no change in temperature, then we say the reaction is completed, the solution is completed. Then we are measuring that change in temperature. Based on that change in temperature or amount of heat involved during this solution is nothing but enthalpy of solution. Okay, The enthalpy of solution is denoted by delta H solution, subscript solution. It is also called as enthalpy of solution at infinite dilution. Further addition of water, infinitely we are adding solvent. Infinite dilution, even though infinite dilution, if there is no change in temperature, then we say the dissolution is completed. The amount of heat energy released or absorbed, we are going to calculate. That value is nothing but enthalpy of solution. Here, two examples they mentioned here. Potassium chloride, aqueous, nothing but water. Just we are adding water to potassium chloride. Completely potassium chloride dissolves. We are taking infinite amount of water. Then we note down its temperature, raise in temperature. Based on that, we are calculating delta H value, that is amount of heat absorbed or given by the system we are calculating. For KCl, we are getting 18.6 kilojoules per mole. It means 1 mole of KCl will absorb 18.6 kilojoules of heat energy. Whereas copper sulfate, 1 mole of copper sulfate on dissolving in water releases 66.5 kilojoules of heat energy. So, dissolution of copper sulfate in water is a exothermic process, whereas KCl is an endothermic process. It means heat may be released or heat may be absorbed. Okay, I think you understood. Next, salts in their hydrated form dissolve in water with absorption of heat energy. Any salt is there, if their hydrated form is there, whenever the hydrated salts dissolve in water, they dissolve with absorption of heat energy. That is, the reaction or dissolution is endothermic. For example, copper sulfate. Copper sulfate is anhydrous salt. If the copper sulfate 5H2O, that is CuSO4 5H2O, it is a hydrated salt. Whenever hydrated salt is dissolved in water, it absorbs heat energy, whereas anhydrous copper sulfate releases heat energy, whereas hydrated copper sulfate absorbs heat energy. It means that in general, the observation is that whenever the hydrated salts dissolve in water, they absorbing heat energy from the surrounding. It means it is an endothermic process. In general, the enthalpy of this solution is endothermic for the salts which do not form hydrates. First condition, any salts which are not going to form any hydrate, those are endothermic in process. Their dissolution is endothermic. Potassium chloride is not going to form any hydrates. It means potassium chloride is not going to form KCl H2O, KCl 2H2O, KCl 3H2O like this. It means potassium chloride crystal is not accommodating water molecules. Such type of salts, that is, which are not going to form any hydrates, they will show their dissolution endothermic. And another one, the hydrated salts. The salts which do not form hydrates, their dissolution is endothermic. Second one, the salts which are hydrated, they are also endothermic. Okay, next. The enthalpy of a solution is the sum of lattice enthalpy and enthalpy of hydration. Here I want to give some clarification. What do you mean by enthalpy? What do you mean by lattice energy? I think you studied in your chemical bonding. Lattice nothing but three-dimensional arrangement of particles regularly. is nothing but a lattice. A regular arrangement of particles in 3 dimension is nothing but a lattice. During the formation of that compound, heat energy is released, and that heat energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy. Okay, I will tell in detail about that. Lattice enthalpy means the amount of heat energy released whenever 1 mole of a compound is formed. When 1 mole of compound is formed, energy is released. That energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy. Second one, enthalpy of hydration. Here, for example, here we have Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus, Na plus, Na plus. In this way, in 3 dimension, different ions are arranged. It is not 2 dimension, it is 2 dimension, but you think 3 dimensional. It means one Na plus is surrounded by Cl minus ions in all directions. All the 6 means along x axis 2, along y axis 2, along z axis 2, like this way. Each Na plus ion is surrounded by Cl minus ion, and each Cl minus ion is surrounded by Na plus ions. So, during the formation of this type of compound, or during the formation of this lattice, energy is released. That is called lattice energy or lattice enthalpy. That is 1 mole compound whenever there is formed from its ions. That energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy. So, whenever we dissolve this in water, we dissolve this. And your water is a polar, it has H plus in the form of H3O plus, and it has OH minus. So whenever sodium chloride is dissolved in water, H3O plus attack the chloride ions. It means each Cl minus ion is surrounded by water molecule, water molecule, water molecule, water molecule. Means each Cl minus ion is surrounded by water molecule. It means there is a bonding between water and Cl minus ion. There is an attraction between Cl minus ion and water. So this attraction releases energy, that is called hydration energy. Each Na plus ion is surrounded by water molecule, that is which is having OH minus, means negative polarity is going to surround this Na plus. So this energy is nothing but hydration energy. Means whenever water makes weak bonds with Na plus ions or Cl minus ions, or in general we can say ions, the energy is released. That energy nothing but hydration energy or enthalpy of hydration. Okay, it means enthalpy of solution is nothing but it is the sum of lattice energy and hydration energy. The addition of these two value will give enthalpy of solution. Okay, enthalpy of solution nothing but the sum of lattice energy plus hydration energy. Okay. The dissolution of a compound in water takes place in 2 steps. Okay. How the compound is going to dissolve? Just I will explain. For example, we have a big lump of NaCl, means many NaCl molecules are present in this lump. A small crystal of sugar you have taken, and that crystal has many NaCl molecules entities. Whenever you dissolve that, first what happens? NaCl are separated. Separate NaCl is there. This is called dissolution. In the next step, this NaCl converts to Na plus and Cl minus, and this is also converting Na plus and Cl minus. So first step, dissolution of the compound is there. Second step, Na formation of ions is there, and after formation of ions, each ion is surrounded by water molecules, H2O molecules, and Cl minus ions are surrounded by H2O molecules. In all direction H2O molecules are surrounding. So here, to break the bond we have to supply energy, but here formation of the compound means there is formation of bond. Water molecules are making bond with Na plus, water molecules are making bond with Cl minus. Because of that, here heat energy is released, here heat energy is absorbed. That heat energy is given by water, and here heat energy is released. So the dissolution of any compound will take place in two steps, that is the dissociation of ionic solid into its free ions. Actually, in first step only we have two steps, that is separation of NaCl entities, afterwards formation of Na plus and Cl minus ion. Actually there are two steps are there. And second one, the hydration of ion, that is surrounding ions by water molecules. Okay, then the energy required for the dissociation of any compound in water is equal to its lattice energy of the compound. Already I told you, lattice energy. How much lattice energy is there, that much amount of heat energy is absorbed, and that energy is given by water. For example, we have taken water, 100 ml water we have taken, just 5 gram or 2 gram sodium chloride we are added. Sodium chloride, even though it is in powder form, but each and every crystal has millions of NaCl entities. So whenever we dissolve that in water, first NaCl molecules are separated. After that Na plus Cl minus will takes place, that is ionization will takes place. In two steps it is going to form, and amount of heat energy supplied to the crystal, supplied to the substance for dissociation is nothing but that is given by water. Means water is giving that energy, and it is equal to lattice enthalpy or lattice energy of the compound. I am not going to say in detail about lattice energy because already you studied in chemical bonding. Just I will say that much only. Okay, means whatever the lattice energy is there, that much heat energy is used to convert into ions. Second, the ions are surrounded by water molecules. So because of that ions, the energy is released. That energy is called hydration energy. Okay, already you know that enthalpy of solution, sometimes endothermic, sometimes exothermic. If it is endothermic, delta H solution value is positive. If it is exothermic, delta H solution value is negative. It means for copper sulfate we got a negative value, and for potassium chloride we got a positive value. Just by this equation we can decide. See, for potassium chloride we got a positive value. Here lattice enthalpy, heat, amount of heat energy is absorbed, means here absorption of heat energy is taking place. Because of that, here it is a positive value, and hydration is always a negative value. It means that here the sum of these two is positive, that is positive plus 118.6 kilojoules per mole, means here positive value. By this we can say that lattice enthalpy is greater than hydration energy. Wherever the lattice enthalpy of the crystal is greater compared to hydration energy, we are getting a positive value. In reverse, wherever the lattice enthalpy, which is always positive, if it is less than the hydration energy, in that case we are getting negative. It means any compound which are having delta H, which are having higher lattice energy compared to hydration energy, their enthalpy of solution is endothermic. Any compound which is having lesser lattice enthalpy compared to hydration energy, they are endothermic. Okay, I think you understood this equation. Okay, calculation of lattice enthalpy from Born-Haber cycle. Calculation of lattice enthalpy. Just I will briefly explain about lattice enthalpy. Lattice enthalpy, already I told you, it is the amount of heat energy released whenever 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from its gaseous ions. Whenever 1 mole of ionic compound is formed, let us take the example of general example of an ionic compound AB. AB is one ionic compound. This ionic compound is formed from A plus ions and B minus ions. So this A plus ions and B minus ions which are in gaseous state, it means A is converted into A plus ions and B is converted into B minus ions. Whenever they are in gaseous state, there is reaction between A plus and B minus, and there is formation of a solid AB. During the formation of this solid AB, the energy is released. That energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy or lattice energy. Okay. This lattice enthalpy, lattice energy, depends upon charge of the ions and size of the ions. According to electrostatic force of attraction, positive, negative, always there is attraction. So as the charge on the positive and charge on the negative goes on increase, there is increase in the attraction force, so there is increase in lattice energy. It means that lattice energy depends upon charge of the ions. Higher the charges, stronger is the attraction. When stronger is the attraction, more energy is released. So one point it is clear that lattice enthalpy depends upon the charges. Higher the charge, more is the attraction, more is the lattice enthalpy. Okay, second, size of the ions. If size of the ions is large, then attraction between the two ions decrease. When attraction between the two ions decrease, then there is decrease in the lattice enthalpy value, because lattice enthalpy mainly depends upon the attraction force. So as the size of the ion goes on increase, their lattice enthalpy decreases, lattice energy decreases. Understood? Lattice enthalpy means it is the energy released when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from its gaseous ion. Gaseous ions, you must remember here, means ions in the gaseous state, they are converted into solid. Gaseous state has maximum energy compared to liquid, compared to solid. It means whenever there is formation of a solid compound from gaseous ions, there is large amount of energy is released. That energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy. Okay, next. Lattice enthalpy of an ionic compound is calculated from Born-Haber cycle. Born-Haber cycle. We are using Born-Haber cycle to calculate lattice enthalpy of an ionic compound. Okay, next. In your syllabus, they mentioned sodium chloride. calculation of lattice enthalpy by using Born-Haber cycle for sodium chloride. They mentioned here. Let us know one by one in stepwise. Step 1. Already I told you, sodium chloride is formed from sodium and chlorine. Sodium in the form of solid, chlorine in the form of gas. We have to convert that sodium to solid sodium atoms, then sodium ion. Then gaseous chlorine is converted to chlorine atom, gaseous chlorine atom, then gaseous chloride ion. Here sodium, gaseous sodium and gaseous chloride combines to form sodium chloride. Okay, let us know one by one in stepwise. First, step 1. Crystalline sodium metal is converted into gaseous sodium atoms. In first step, we are converting solid sodium into gaseous sodium. Here solid sodium is a lump. It is a combination of many atoms, whereas gaseous sodium, independent gaseous atoms are there. It is a group of atoms, whereas it is independent atoms. Okay, for this conversion it is absorbing heat energy, that is equals to enthalpy of sublimation, amount of heat energy absorbed to convert 1 mole of solid to 1 mole of gas. That energy is nothing but enthalpy of sublimation, and it is equal to 109 kilojoules. For sodium, this much amount of heat energy is absorbed. Okay, it means in first step, solid sodium is converted to gaseous sodium. In solid sodium, it is a group of many sodium atoms. In gaseous sodium, it is independent atoms. For this process, we are using this much amount of heat energy. Okay, second, in second step, 1/2 of gaseous chlorine molecules dissociate to give 1 mole gaseous chlorine atoms. Chlorine, the standard state of chlorine is gas, and chlorine is a diatomic gas, so chlorine always exists in the form of Cl2. First we have to convert that molecular chlorine into atomic chlorine. So we are taking half mole, because for the formation of 1 mole sodium chloride we require only 1 mole of chlorine, but half mole of chlorine molecules will give 1 mole of chlorine atoms, so we are taking only half mole here. For this conversion we are taking half of its enthalpy of dissociation. So enthalpy of dissociation of chlorine is 244, half of that is equals to 122. So this much amount of heat energy we are supplying to convert half mole chlorine molecules to 1 mole chlorine atom in second step. Okay, next, third one, gaseous sodium atoms are ionized to gaseous sodium ions. First step we got sodium in the gaseous state. In third step, gaseous sodiums are converted to gaseous sodium ions. It means here the energy used is nothing but ionization enthalpy. Means we are supplying heat energy to sodium atoms to lose their electron, outermost valence shell electron, that is ionization energy, ionization enthalpy. So delta H ionization is equals to plus 496. This much amount of heat energy we have supplied to convert gaseous sodium to gaseous ions. Okay, next, 1 mole of gaseous chlorine atoms are converted into gaseous chloride ions. It means actually sodium chloride is going to form in a closed flask. We are taking flask, from one side we are passing gaseous sodium atoms, In another side we are passing chlorine gas, chlorine atoms. Means first we are converting that into solid sodium is vaporized to sodium atoms, then we convert it to sodium ions, and chlorine molecules are converted to chlorine atoms, then we are passing that into the flask. So sodium has lost electron, means free electron is available in that flask, and chlorine has affinity to accept electron, so that liberated electron is taken by this chlorine, so Cl is converted to Cl minus, and during this energy is released, means whenever the electrons are added to the atoms, energy is released. Whenever we have to remove the electron from the atom, energy we have to supply. So here that energy is nothing but electron gain enthalpy or electron affinity. So this is a negative value because energy is released. So here energy is released. Okay, next step 5 means in that flask we have 1 mole Na plus and 1 mole Cl minus. This Na plus Cl minus, positive negative charges are there, they are attracting each other. So by attraction there is formation of solid sodium chloride, and during that energy is released. That energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy or lattice energy, and it is denoted by U. Then by applying Hess law of heat summation, there is one law to explain heat to explain what heat energy changes in a reaction. That law is called Hess law. I will tell in detail in the next videos. So that law is called Hess law. Here Hess law of heat summation, that is enthalpy of formation of sodium chloride. Here we have enthalpy of sublimation of sodium, we have enthalpy of dissociation of chlorine, we have enthalpy of ionization, enthalpy of sodium. Here we have electron affinity of chlorine, and then lattice enthalpy. So this is denoted by S, this is denoted by D, this is denoted by IE, and this is denoted by EA, then U. So sum of all these is nothing but enthalpy of formation of sodium chloride. This value is given. So based on these values we can calculate U value. For sodium chloride we come to know that the lattice enthalpy of sodium chloride is minus 788 kilojoules. So this energy is nothing but lattice enthalpy. Okay, let us know some important points here. Greater the lattice enthalpy, more stable is the ionic compound. If lattice enthalpy will decide the stability of a compound. If higher lattice enthalpy is there, the compound is more stable. The compound is not easily soluble in water or not easily disturbed. Solubility of a compound in water nothing but disturbing a compound. Stability of a compound will decided by solubility. The compounds which are readily soluble, they are unstable. The compounds which are not readily soluble, they are stable compound. It means that lattice enthalpy will decide the stability of ionic compound. Greater the lattice enthalpy, more is the stable, less will be the stable. Okay, next. Greater the lattice enthalpy of an ionic compound, less is its solubility in water. Higher the lattice enthalpy, solubility in water is less. Understood? Lesser the lattice enthalpy, more is the soluble. Understood? Third one, the enthalpy of solution of most of the ionic compounds is positive. Most of the ionic compounds they have lattice enthalpy positive. By this we can say that their enthalpy of solution, most of the enthalpy of solution of most of the ionic compounds is positive. By this already I told you, we can say that their lattice enthalpy is more, because there is a strong attraction among the positively charged and negatively charged ions. Understood? By this I am going to conclude today's session. Thank you.